So now we want to talk about things that you can do to make the world more sustainable. So I was on the internet and I found these 12 things. Now you may have more things that you would like to add to these 12, and if so, you can email me at ehrichp@otc.edu, and I will add your suggestions to my list of things that you can do. So the first one is to think twice before shopping. So ask yourself if you really need this thing that you want to buy. Consider buying a reused item instead of a new item, and look for minimal packaging and shipping. Second one is to make sure your big purchases have big environmental benefits. So you want to shop for energy efficient cars and appliances. So when you're shopping for stuff, look for things that are going to use the minimum amount of energy. Another thing is to go plastic free. So one thing that you could do is, like, if you go shopping, instead of checking out and getting plastic bags to put everything in, you can bring a bag with you, and then you can put stuff in that reusable bag, and then you won't be using as much plastic. Okay, another thing, you're going to boycott products that endanger wildlife. So you can do research on companies and find out if, let's say that this particular company makes furniture, okay, and then you would find out how do they harvest the wood to make their furniture. So do they clear cut, or do they leave corridors for animals to be able to use? So are they being environmentally friendly when they're cutting down trees? Okay, the next thing is to pay attention to labels. Look for shade-grown coffee, which is grown while keeping the forest habitat intact. So this is a particular way of growing coffee that doesn't cut down trees. Another thing is to choose fair trade certified goods to support companies dedicated to sustainable production and fair wages. So you can do research on whatever product that you're interested in and find out if this company pays fair wages to their employees, or do they use slave labor in order to do it. Buy organic food. So at all supermarkets, they have a section where you can buy organic food that hasn't been used. They don't use pesticides on it. They don't use chemical fertilizers on it. A lot of times it's more expensive, but it might be more healthy for you, in which case you might be saving money in the long run, since you're not going to be spending money on health issues. Be water wise. So avoid bottled water. Conserve water by taking shorter showers, fixing leaky faucets, using low flow appliances, and landscaping with drought adapted plants. Drive less, drive green. So it says to walk, bike, carpool, or use public transit. So for people here in the United States, this might be too much. But if you can possibly walk, you're not going to be using as much resources to do that. It's healthier for you, so you're going to be getting some exercise while you're doing it. If you're carpooling, you're sharing with other people, so again, you're not using as much gasoline. And if you use public transit, you're not using as much gasoline. Try to combine your errands together when you go shopping. Keep your car tuned up and tires inflated properly. Okay, the next one is to green up your home. So insulate your walls, your attic, and windows. So this costs money in order to do it, but once you have insulated your house, you start to save money when you do this. Use a programmable thermostat. Use energy efficient bulbs in your house. Choose wild energy. So this is going to be green energy. So this is going to be solar and wind, for example. Use a utility company that generates some of its electricity from clean sources. So you can talk to your utility company and say, I want to use only electricity that has come from windmills and solar panel stuff. And they can do that. It's going to cost you more in order to get electricity that comes from those sources, but you would be helping to support the environment. You can install solar panels or use solar water heating. So solar panels, if you want to be able to provide all of the electricity for your house, it's going to have to be solar panels that basically cover the entire roof of your house, and it's going to cost something like $20,000. But you can get tax rebates for doing that, and within about 20 years, you would actually be generating electricity from these instead of using electricity. So it'll take about 20 years to make up the money in saved electrical bills, but then after that you'd be making money. Take extinction off your plate. So reduce the amount of meat that you eat. And so this would be a hard thing for people here in the United States to do. But if instead of eating meat, you eat more vegetables, it's going to be healthier for you, and it's going to be better for you in the long run. Another reason why you want to do this is it takes a lot of energy in order to raise cattle, because we have these things called food levels. And so there's a certain amount of energy that it takes in order to raise plants. Okay, it takes more energy to raise meat because the animals are going to be eating the energy that was in those plants. So overall, it takes more energy to raise cattle than it does vegetables. So try to reduce the amount of meat that you're eating. Okay, then choose to have a smaller family. So again, now it's really starting to hurt. So how small of a family do you really need to have? So you need to have basically 2.2 children if you are living in an industrialized country. Okay, you need to have 2 children because that would be enough in order to keep the population from neither getting larger or smaller. And then you need that extra 0.2 because a certain number of humans are going to die before they reach the age of puberty and have a chance to reproduce. So you need to have slightly more than 2 children. If you live in an underdeveloped country, you might need to have more than 2.2 because of health conditions might mean that more of your children are going to die before they have a chance to reproduce. All right, so those are the 12 that I found on the internet, and I encourage you to send me more. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to take our quiz over this lesson.